On top of the world, living high was right in my pocket. I was living the life, things were just the way they should be. When from out of the sky, like a bomb, comes a punk in a rocket. Now all of a sudden, some strange things are happening to me. I had friends, I had lots of friends. Now all my friends are gone, and I'm doing the best I can to carry on. I had power, I was respected, but not anymore. And I lost the love to the one whom I adore. Let me tell you about the strange things that are happening to me. Strange things. Strange things are happening to me. Ain't no doubt about it. You got someone you think you know well, turns out a stranger. The minute you turn your back, you're in it all by yourself. They laugh at your jokes, you think you're doing quite well, but you're in danger, boy. You end up alone, forgotten way up on the shelf. Strange things are happening to me. Strange things. Strange things are happening to me. Ain't no doubt about it. Strange things are happening to me. Strange things. Strange things are happening to me. Ain't no doubt about it. Yeah.
Hey everybody, welcome to Gootz's Disney Pod, Season 2. We are done with all the Disney films, now we're doing Pixar, and we're going to pop right off with Toy Story 1, the original Toy Story, and my guest today is Eagle Witt. Eagle, how you feeling?
I'm good, man. How you guys doing? How you doing?
I'm hanging in there, man. Just had a crazy Halloween, and tonight actually, we're going to have a crazy show tonight, so.
What were you for Halloween?
Oh, I'm just a Gootz. I wear so many horror shirts all year long, I just wear a horror shirt that day.
Yeah, I was literally
I saw
a
that.
Care Bear.
Yeah, so you can't see he was a Care Bear. Dude, where'd you get that costume?
HalloweenCostumes.com or some shit, some website.
Yeah, you and your girl you guys look like serial killers. It was dope as hell. I saw the pictures on your Facebook, man. Where'd you go? Did you go to a party or did you just chill?
We just walked around for the most part, yeah.
Did you perform in that?
Yeah, I did perform it. I performed twice in it.
Oh my god, that must have been amazing.
Yeah, it was different.
That was good. All right, cool, man. So Eagle, before we get into Toy Story, I want to have the listeners get to know you a little bit more. How long have you been doing stand-up now?
If you count 2020, 6 years.
Okay, yeah, I count 2020. Fuck it. We're doing it tonight, right? So
Yeah, that's right.
So what got you into stand-up?
Everybody just told me to do it. I didn't want to do it, but everybody kept telling me to do it like my whole life, and eventually I was like, all right, I'll try it.
Like you just one day went to the open mics, you're like, fuck it.
Yeah, I kind of tapped out. Everybody kept on, all my friends, all my family, they kept on pushing me to do it. And eventually I was like, fine, I'll try it.
And did you fall in love with it? Because now I know, like, you love stand-up. I remember, like, when the pandemic was really bad. Well, I mean, it's really bad right now. But when shit was closed, you were like, I'm like, like, it's not bad right now. But like you had a post like I really miss stand up. I'm crying so much. So when did you fall in love with it? 'Cause I know you're one of the dudes I know that loves stand up more than anyone else.
um, actually, the first time I did it, I bombed, as you do usually the first time you do stand up. And I was so bad at it, and I was so nervous. I did my punchlines first, then my setups. Like I did the jokes backwards. I was so nervous, and I hated it. And I was like, I'm not doing this shit ever again. And then my sister convinced me to try again. She was like, people aren't good their first time. Try a couple more times, and if you don't like it, you can quit for real.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, all right, cool. And like 3 weeks later, I tried again, got up a couple times, and one of the times I got up, I got like this big laugh, big applause break, and I was just hooked. I mean, it's like amazing. It's better than like you know how it is. I mean, you get
Oh
a big
yeah.
laugh, it's like
Oh, especially when you're in a big room. Like I remember I did this one the first time I ever did like a room with like 400 people. I told a joke and the laughs kept coming for like it was like a wave. It was like almost like getting hit with the like different waves if you're in the ocean. And it's
yeah,
like, damn, this is fucking intense. It's like better than any drug. I don't know. I don't do a lot of drugs, but I think it's better than any drug.
same.
Yeah, it's fucking dope as hell. So what were you when you how what was your childhood like? Like what year were you born, man?
94.
Oh damn, so you were a little kid when this shit. Well, not even you were a baby when this movie came out. What did you grow up like? Were you into cartoons as a kid?
It's crazy. I kind of was into stand up. I didn't really think it was different, but I used to
Oh
like
wow.
watch Def Comedy Jam when I was a little kid.
Okay.
Yeah, it was weird looking back on it. What did I watch that was actually like kids shows? Well, I watched like Nickelodeon a little bit, like Hey Arnold, and
Hmm.
I watched Ed and Eddie on Cartoon Network. And I don't know, Def Comedy Jam is weird. I
No,
do
that's
remember
cool.
watching Toy Story though when I was a kid.
Okay. Well, when I was a kid, they didn't really have a lot of stand-up on TV. Plus, I didn't have cable, but this was back in the '80s. But the way I fell into stand-up when I decided I wanted to do it was they had a show on Channel 5 because I grew up here, right? You grew up here too, so you know Channel 5, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they had a show on Saturdays at 11:30 right after the news called Live from Comic Strip. And it was a weekly stand-up show, but it was like not the comic strip we know. It was someplace in LA or some shit.
Oh shit.
And I thought it was the coolest thing in the world. I'm like, yo, you get dressed up, you tell jokes. This looks amazing. So I was into I used to watch that instead of Saturday Night Live when I was really little. It was only on for like a few years in the '80s. So it's not that weird because that's when I got into stand-up. And I started following Sam Kinison and Chris Rock and Rodney Dangerfield, all those dudes.
Wow, they were all on that show.
They weren't on that show, but I went out and seeked them out. No, there was like people I never even heard of. I don't even know who was on that show to be honest with you. They look cool, and I thought they were funny, and I'm like, oh, this
I
seems
get it.
cool. Yeah, like I don't know, but so it's not that weird that you're in the stand up. I think that's when most people who become lifelong comedians they get into it as a kid.
Hmm.
So and then that's because that was been my goal since I was like 10 years old through comedy.
Oh, that's dope.
Yeah, man. So you did see Toy Story as a kid. What'd you think about Toy Story as a kid?
I thought it was great. I mean, Toy Story is a great movie.
Yeah. So yeah, this I think like, and you just rewatched it for the podcast.
Yeah.
Does it feel like any less, or is it still like hold up?
Still holds up. Still is a great movie. It's crazy. But you know what? I have this theory that Disney movies and Pixar movies, like basically any
Mhm.
animated movie, they're never bad, which always like to me shows me how shitty people are as actors. Because it's
Yeah.
like when we're actually on screen, the movie can be terrible.
Hmm.
But when it's like an animated or a 3D, like it's always good. I've never seen a bad animated movie.
Well, the animation. There's always like now, doing this podcast, I did research. There's so much work into each shot that like a movie, like if I just film me and you bullshitting on a movie set, there's really all we do is just stand there. We walk and we stand there. But with a
Hmm.
fucking animated film, there's so many people working on every single shot that
And it's
like
amazing.
it's real work. My thing with Toy Story, this is like I think one of the most. I didn't realize that at the time because I was like still a teenager, and I thought it was gonna be like a fad, like oh they're gonna like go back to regular animation. But I think this is like one of the most important movies ever made
One of the
because it
most what?
important movies ever made
Oh, okay.
because it changed the game. Because if you think about it, like they were just making traditional animated films, um, like like Aladdin, Lion King, you saw that stuff, right?
Hmm.
And then after this movie, then every movie went to CGI. and the
Well,
CGI.
I remember the first time I saw it, thinking like, "Oh, this, it's like 3D. It's like it looks like video games."
Yeah.
And I remember it was this is the first cartoon I ever saw where I was like, "Oh, this doesn't look like a cartoon. This looks like 3D characters."
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I don't know if did you ever play the Toy Story video game?
No.
It was like the first video game I thought where like it looked like they just took scenes from the movie and you could animate. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Yeah, because everything else was drawn and stuff. But I think it's an important movie because like this wasn't made by Disney. I don't know if you know that.
Yeah.
This
Pixar,
dude,
right?
yeah, but they didn't own Pixar at the time. This dude got thrown out of Disney. He got fired, the guy who directed this. And he went
Wow.
to work with Apple. And Apple teamed up with him to make a movie. And then Disney saw they were doing and then asked them, can we distribute the movie for you guys? And that movie wound up being Toy Story. So because when he was at Disney, he was trying to push to do computer animation. And they were like, no, fuck it. We're just doing stuff by hand. Like, you're kind of crazy. Get out of here. And he had to go do it himself. He had to go pitch it to Apple. He had to like prove like, yo, we can make animated films using a computer.
Mm-hmm.
So, that's so I think like, if this guy didn't have that vision, like the way they make kids films now would be completely different.
Change the game.
Change the game. So let me get into the plot a little bit. I don't know if people haven't seen this movie in a while. Toy Story is a movie about toys that are alive, which is it's a crazy idea, but it's a pretty genius idea. What did you think? Now, when you saw that movie as a kid, were you like, I wonder if my toys are alive, or you knew that was fake bullshit already?
No, I knew it was fake bullshit, but I loved it.
Yeah, it's such a cool idea.
Yeah.
Because every now and then when I was a kid, I would have toys, and I don't know where they went. Like, and I think to myself, well, maybe the toy moved itself. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it turned out just my friend. But so all these toys, they live at. Here's the thing too about Pixar movies. I want to get your opinion on them because I saw who makes them. They're very white movies. Do you agree with that or no?
Well, what's funny is I always, even when I was a little kid, I used to look at Mr. Potato Head like he was black. Like I was like, oh, that's the black character.
Well, he's the comic. He's Don Rickles. He's the
But
only.
he just, I don't know, maybe because Mr. Potato Head and Steve Harvey look so much alike.
Oh yeah.
But he just seemed black to me. I was like, oh, this is the black character in the movie.
Yeah, well, he was, yeah, but he's he's one of my favorite characters because, like, again, they cast the stand-up comedian Don Rickles. Were you a fan? Have you ever listened to his stand-up, Don Rickles?
Yeah, Rickles is dope.
He's fucking the best. I love him. So the toys are alive. This kid Andy, his favorite toy is Woody, voiced by Tom Hanks, who I thought did a really good job as Woody. Did you like him as Woody?
I liked him as Woody. I like the plot is so good. Like it's such a funny ass movie.
Yeah, it's a funny. It's a very tight movie. So he gets a new toy, Buzz Lightyear, and Buzz Lightyear. And this is where most of the humor comes from. And Buzz, I think, is really funny in this movie. Buzz thinks he's the actual Buzz Lightyear. He thinks he's a real space ranger. And he's in the room, and Woody is kind of heated because he feels like Buzz is taking his place, and Woody's like, "No, dude, like we're toys. You don't get it." And Buzz is all like, fucking shit. I thought that, like, I've seen all 4 Toy Story movies. I like them all, but I think this is the funniest one because Buzz is so off his rocker.
I get what you're saying. My favorite parts, to me, the funniest parts of the movie were just everyone thinking Woody's a murderer. Like, it had me dying laughing.
Yes. So at one point, Buzz falls out the window by accident. They think that Woody killed him. And they turn on Woody real fucking fast, too.
They turn on him so fast.
Like, I look back, like, I would not want friends like this. They try to throw him out of the house. They throw him out of a fucking moving car.
Yeah.
That is some intense shit. But, yeah, so Buzz gets thrown out the window. Woody's got to go find him. No, they get in the car first. They go to this pizza place. What is it called? Pizza Palace?
Pizza Planet.
Pizza Planet, where they meet those little
alien
figures.
things.
Every little kid I knew, like, I didn't know a lot of little kids, but all my friends' little brothers had those things after that movie. I think they just gave them out at, like, fucking McDonald's or something. So, this bad kid, Buzz is fucking Buzz Lightyear. I'm sorry, what's the bad kid's name? I'm sorry.
I don't remember the bad kid's name.
I'm going to look it up right now, so I have the page up. I forget the bad kid's name. Fucking, Sid! Sid's the bad kid. So, Sid gets the toys. They go to Sid's house, and Sid tortures the toys, which is crazy. And that's where Buzz realizes that he's not a real person. He's a toy. he kind of has a mental breakdown. I think he gets drunk.
Yeah.
He gets a little drunk, and then Woody decides to stop Sid. He reveals that the toys are alive to Sid. Sid has a breakdown, probably still in therapy. And then what I think is the best scene is Woody and Buzz have to get back to Andy's car, which at the time I had never seen an action scene like that in an animated film.
That's such a good point. Yeah.
Yeah, because like they've had like scenes but like I don't know, Beauty and the Beast and like Aladdin really didn't have like action scenes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this movie like the fucking chase, it was like a car. They're racing underneath cars. They're being chased by a dog. I don't know. I thought it was
I
pretty
think
good.
what's amazing too is you start getting into like the characters as if they're not toys. Like,
Yes.
like
Yeah.
you get so lost. It does a great job of making you really like suspend disbelief. Like you're really like invested in toys.
Yeah, and you're in that point, are you like this is a kids movie or like this is bullshit, like these are just toys? You like really Are you like really worried about Woody and Buzz?
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's the other thing too about the writing for this movie, because like so I've done these all in a row. I've done all Disney films in a row. But like I feel like this had dialogue that was good for adults as well as kids.
Mm-hmm.
It was like clever dialogue, like it was like clever jokes, like shit you would see like in a sitcom or in a smart movie, whereas like it's not like dumbed down shit for like little kids.
Yo, man, it really had me laughing. Like I said, everybody thinking he was a murderer was so funny to me.
That was hilarious. What about the scene where he fuck, what was the scene? What about the scene where he's like using the laser on Woody's head and he keeps like moving around with the laser on the bed?
It's super funny too.
That shit's really funny. Now, did you see the other ones? Did you see Toy Story 2, 3, or 4 ever?
I might have seen Toy Story 2, and that's it.
Okay, what'd you think of Toy Story 2?
I mean, I could hardly remember it. I'm not even sure
Okay.
if I saw it in full.
Okay. Well, Toy Story 3, I think is the best one.
Really?
That one I took a girl out on a date to see that movie. And I was shocked at how many adults were in that fucking theater. It was like all people in their 20s to see Toy Story 3.
Wow.
And then I got into a fight with someone during the movie, but that's a whole other story. But she was crying during the movie.
It's that good.
Yeah, she was crying. And then I felt like, all right, I better cry or she might think I'm like insensitive or like, I don't know. I mean, I thought it was sad, but then I like tried to force myself to cry too. So, because she had huge titties. Like, you don't understand how big her tits were. So I'm like, it didn't work out, but I was like really trying to impress this girl. So, you know how it is. So what was besides the arms sequence? What was your favorite scene in Toy Story?
Mm, I think it's gotta be I don't know. Wait, you said besides which sequence?
The sequence with the one where they're pretending that he's dead. He's pretend. No, I'm sorry. That scene is funny. So remember, they think he's a murderer. He's trying to prove he's not, but he has Buzz's arm, and he's using Buzz's arm to be like, "I'm okay."
Oh yeah.
And then
I
they
think
reveal it, and they think that he's like dismembering Buzz.
I think when okay, so definitely when they think he's a murderer at the end when he's trying to get into the back and they push him off. And then also my favorite scene is also when they come to life with the kid.
Oh
Because
yeah.
the whole movie you're kind of going when the bully's like fucking with them, the whole
Mhm.
time you're thinking like, why don't they just show him they're alive?
Yeah.
So when they finally do it, it's like finally, like yes, just show them you're alive.
Well, it's I think about like how like here's the deal. What if a toy? Do you think a toy knows if someone's filming it? Because like if the toys are alive, they gotta be really careful because if it gets caught on
Hmm.
YouTube or something or Instagram, they're fucked. Like, I mean, I don't know what would happen if we all found out our toys were alive, but then the other thing that was weirding me out, I thought when I saw this movie is like, so this kid's like dismembering his toys, right? And he's like putting like the dinosaur head on the little girl doll. Now, like, does that kill the dinosaur and the little girl, make it a new person, or is
I
it
was
like
thinking the same thing.
how does that work? Like, is it now the dinosaur because it's the dinosaur's head? Like, what happens to these? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, Are they the same? I don't know those rules. Is he killing people or what is he doing?
He's playing some type of evil god role.
Yeah. He's fucking that part I was like, so I don't know. Is that the
Also,
dinosaur?
none of them can talk once they've been dismembered, even if they do keep their head.
That's right. So like, are you like mentally ill now?
Yeah.
Do you have like a mental problem? I don't know. Maybe that explains people. Fucking God ripped the head off and put them like when we meet up fucked up people and shit. I don't know.
Yeah.
Eagle, let me ask you this. So would you recommend everyone watch Toy Story, like kids and shit?
Absolutely. I
Yeah.
think it's a great movie. It's an American classic.
Yeah, it's one of my favorites. You know, it's so funny because like we'll get a bad movie on this podcast and I'll have a ton of shit to say. I'll rip into
What was
it.
a bad movie example?
Frozen 2 is fucking horrible.
Uh,
Yeah, I don't know. Did you ever see the original Frozen?
no, I've heard the original Frozen's pretty good.
Original Frozen's pretty good. Frozen 2 was like I don't know who I was like watching this like I don't know who this is for. Because if I was a little kid I'd be lost. I was like, what the fuck are they talking about? But when I get a bad movie, like I can do a super long episode of this podcast because I got a lot of shit to say. And we get a movie like this. This movie is so good. I think I would put it like in the top 5 all-time best animated films.
What's your top 5?
All just of everything, I would say Cinderella.
Is this number 1? Is it in order?
No. In
No
order,
order.
Pinocchio would be number 1. Because have you seen Pinocchio lately?
Nah.
Dude, Pinocchio, he smokes weed. He like gets high. They give him a blunt and he smokes it. Like they don't say it's a blunt. They say it's a cigarette. But the way he gives a toke and his eyes get all watery, it's like a blunt. And like he drinks beer. It's a crazy movie. Like the shit. It's dark too, man.
I want to go back and watch it now. But go ahead. Top 5.
Okay, Pinocchio, I think is number 1. Because it's just such a crazy movie for back in the day. Lady and the Tramp, I like that one a lot. Cinderella, Toy Story, and Coco. Have you seen Coco? Oh, Coco, that movie made me cry my ass off. But mainly because my dad was Mexican, and he's dead. But it's about like a Mexican family losing somebody, and it's really it's really good, but it's like sad as fuck. But I love that movie. But yeah, Toy Story, and also Monsters Inc. Have you seen that?
I have seen Monsters Inc.
That movie. What'd you think of that?
It's good. It's really good.
Yeah.
You know what I loved a lot when I was a kid? A Bug's Life and I think Ants, is it?
Ants I didn't see, but I heard like Ants gets crazy. I heard like there's like a lot of like R-rated shit in Ants.
Ants is pretty good.
Did you ever see B Movie?
No.
The one that Seinfeld made?
No.
No, that's about a bee trying to fuck a human chick.
What?
Yeah, and it's a kids movie, but there's like all these memes about it, and like everybody like people have made like Twitter shit about it. People will like troll Seinfeld about it on Twitter and stuff.
Wow.
Yeah, that's you should check that out. Just I don't know if it's good, but I should check that out. But yeah, Bugs Life. I don't know. I saw it recently. I didn't like it that much.
Ants. I remember liking Ants a lot.
Ants. What's some other favorite? Do you like the Shreks?
I love Shrek. Oh my God. All the Shrek movies are so good.
Yeah.
They're like complete movies.
You know what? Since you're here, I want to ask you something because I talked about. Do you know Linnea Law Wiles?
Oh yeah, actually I do.
Okay, we did Princess of the Frog, and I mentioned this to her. So like, I'm reviewing all these films, right? And they don't really get to a black princess till 2009. And for that movie, guess who they got to write all the music?
Who?
It's about black people. You would assume it's a black artist, right? They got Randy Newman, the white dude who did the music for Toy Story. And he writes a song for Neo, because Neo's in the end credits. And I just thought to myself, and let me see if you agree with me. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, sorry.
I got that scam likely call.
Oh, well, okay. They were making Disney movies in the 80s and the 90s, and they got Aladdin, who's Indian. Arab. They have Mulan, who's Chinese. They're going all these different places, and they're using all these different artists. And I'm like, they never really used any black artists. Like, how the fuck in the 80s didn't they go to like Michael Jackson, Whitney Houston, or something? Be like, hey, we want to make a musical. We want to make an animated film about black culture. Would you write the songs? So I just feel like if they had a Disney animated film about black culture in America with artists like Prince, Michael J. Fox. I'm sorry, Michael Jackson, Whitney Houston, even like rappers, even like Boys to Men in the '90s. If you want to, if you want to bring them in, I just feel like a movie like that would have been so fucking huge, especially for like black kids growing up.
Oh my God, yeah.
Do you agree with me on that?
Yeah, I agree.
And I just feel like they never did it. And like you had access to so many great artists throughout the years. Like you've been doing this since the '30s. Why did you never once try to make a movie about black culture, an animated film with a black character as a princess like Ariel or something, rather than just we're gonna make Little Mermaid with a black woman? What about a movie about black culture animated, like this one, like Toy Story or like Aladdin?
Yeah.
Do you think that would have like really like if you saw it as a kid, do you think that would have like really like inspired you, or you wouldn't have given a
No,
shit?
yeah, it'd been cool, man. It'd definitely been cool just to see the representation.
Yeah, I just don't know. I'm thinking to myself like I don't know why they never did it. They didn't do it to 2009, and they have a white dude write all the music.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
I
kind
mean,
of
it's always something missing with the cartoons. I always think of when I think of like culture and race as like cartoon movies. I always think of Usama's joke about Aladdin, where he's like, if Aladdin was real, the dude would have ate his monkey.
Oh yeah, that's a good one, man. Did you ever see the movie Bebe's Kids?
I did see various kids when I was a kid. I don't
That guy.
remember it well.
Okay, yeah, it's a whole movie basically. They animated that dude's stand-up bits. They made a movie about it.
Hmm.
And then he died, which was
Yeah,
sad. That sucks. But yeah, that's a stand-up comic who got a movie and shit. All right. Well,
Robin
Eagle.
Harris, the original Bernie Mac.
Oh yeah, that's right. Eagle, where can people find you on social media if they want to check you out?
Eagle Witt official
Eaglewood Official.
on
And do you have?
Instagram.
This is going to come out on Friday. Do you have anything you want to plug?
Um, in December, I'm gonna be on Comedy Central on stand up featuring.
Oh, cool. This could be on YouTube, right?
Yeah.
All right,
So
dope.
check that out.
And guys, if you like this podcast, if this is the first time you heard it, sorry this episode wasn't that long, but you know what? There's just not a lot to complain about.
It's a great movie.
It's a great movie. Just go fucking see it. I'm so I did Snow White with Barry Ribs, and Barry Ribs never saw Snow White. Got confused by the plot. I picked him because I'm like, he's the oldest guy I know. I'm sure he grew up with this movie. You know what I'm
Of
saying?
course.
And he had never seen it, and he was like, "So what's going on?" And I'm like, "Bro, the fucking she's gonna live with the dwarves." And then you know the plot of Snow White, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, he didn't know the plot.
that's hilarious.
To me, was like, "How are you this old and never saw Snow White?"
Damn,
Like,
you're too old for Snow White. That's funny.
yeah, he was like, "I don't know, I never." All right, and he was like, "Yo, she's a hot bitch. I'd fuck her." And I'm like, "Great, Barry Ribs. I'm glad you're on it." But yeah, like this movie is just perfect. Go see it. But if you're a fan of Toy Story or Eagle Witness, it's your first time listening to the podcast. I just covered all Disney films. Go subscribe, Gootz's Disney Pod. Also follow me on social media, Instagram and Twitter, Ray Gootz, and follow Eagle too. Eagle, thank you so much for being on this episode.
Thank you for having me, man.
All right, we'll see you next week with A Bug's Life. Talk to you guys later.